All right, and here we go. We've got Uncle Navi starting out.
Yes. Hey, listen.
And 300's first in Link's chest there. A good start for the race in terms of being able to buy things there, most notably the Bottle Vendor and Zora later on there. And we're starting up the beginning to the escape sequence now. Now, this is a standard mode there, so escape is required. However, Uncle is guaranteed to give you a weapon of some sort. They're not necessarily a sword, though. It can be anything else. So we'll be seeing what that is soon.
Yes, it could be a fire rod, a bow, anything.
All right, and today we have the Cane of Samaria plus a full magic refill. That's a pretty easy way to get through the dungeon there. You can play low, 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 and la, 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 and just smash people with blocks, or just push the blocks into them as well.
Or explode them into fireballs, which is an instant kill against the green guards.
Pretty much there, and we've got another 50 rupees inside the chest here there. 350 to start out there that will give you still a good ways towards King Zora.
Plus it lets them clear out Kakariko pretty much immediately.
Still need a bottle to get that from Silky there, but yes. We've got Moucheron heading into the basement of the castle pretty soon there, as soon as he makes it through these guards. Devios is not all that far behind, but this is still very early going there, so it's anyone's game there. We're still looking for those beginning items that we're going to find in the escapes portion.
This is a bit of a treat for me because I haven't seen whatever the red staff is called. My brain just sort of turped out there.
Cane of Samaria. This makes it 3 of the 4 last seeds I've casted be Cane of Samaria there.
Yeah, usually I commentate on the other staff, the Cane of Burna or Staff of Burna or whatever it's called.
So it looks like our staff is having a case of having staffs.
Yes. It looks like Moucheron on there is doing quite well.
Yep, pretty much. He's made it through that side room there, picked up another key, so onward we go down into Zelda's basement.
Yes. Because this game can't continue until that princess is nice and rescued temporarily.
Yep, we'll see how well they can take on the ball and chain guard with the Cane of Samaria there, or if we're just going to chuck pots at him, because that's always a good thing to do.
Oh, that was a nice little combo there.
Ooh, gets down to 1 heart there, but takes out the ball and chain guard there. Finds even more money. This has been a rich seed so far there. And Devios is right down there in the basement with him, chucking pots at the guard, takes him down, and is rescuing Zelda himself, not that far behind.
The pot strategy is a little slower, but it is a bit more consistent.
This is true there, so we are... And of note there, no one has found any bombs yet. We are still waiting for a bomb drop to spawn so that we can get into the 3 chest area in the back of Escape.
Meanwhile, it seems like chat is not particularly happy about seeing this weapon as a starting weapon.
Unfortunately, it's not terribly that interesting compared to some of the others there. I get some people, I'm assuming we're hoping for Bomb Star just to see that if they can, how that would work.
Personally, I don't mind the Burna start. If you can manage your resources, it goes by quite easily.
I think that might be just the entertainment issue for there. So can just walk around and things die in your general direction.
Of course, this staff, you get a little bit of fun, hucking blocks at people.
Pretty much there, but we've got Moosh heading into the sewer portion there. DVO just 1 room behind him.
Right on his heels. It's always nice to see everyone pretty close at the start of the race.
There isn't all that much room for deviance here, but we should be getting that as soon as we finish our first sweep of the overworld.
And perhaps even before, I've seen some runners just, oh, I'm just going to go this way instead. Looks like the bomb farm is not paying off, unfortunately.
That is correct there. The snakes do not feel like exploding today.
I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to explode either. It's looking like they may have to sweep back this way later to grab the 3 chests that are up ahead.
Unless these rats feel like being generous, and yes, that is the case there. Neither of them have found a bomb.
And no bomb means backtracking.
Pretty much. So they'll have to hope that they get an early glove so that they can get that back of escape taken care of before it becomes forgotten.
Looks like they're just desperately trying to find any sort of explosive to work with.
It is a pain to backtrack in here, so I do not blame them.
Yes, it is quite out of the way to come back here. But it looks like we will be seeing this location at some point in the run again.
And both of them are more or less giving up on there, and they will be heading into Sanctuary, where they'll pick up the last chest they can access right now, which will be the Piece of Heart.
I would have laughed if it was bombs.
Because you have to, you can't backtrack through that portal.
That's what made it funny. Oh.
So I saw there that Eastern Palace and Tower of Hera were both pendants there. I didn't get a good look at Desert Palace, so did you see what that was?
Me neither. Based on chat, it might be a pendant, actually, because someone commented if this is even randomized.
We could have vanilla placements of all the pendants so far, at least in terms of just being pendant or crystal.
That hope of this being a pedestal pull seed is starting to increase a little bit.
A little bit, yes. If Dark World Access is hidden behind Aghanim there, I don't believe I saw anything interesting in the Lumberjack Cave. I'm going to take another look at it.
It looked like a single arrow to me.
Yep, just a single arrow. Nothing to see here. Onward we go into the Lost Woods circuit there. Both the runners opting to go for the northern route to go to Kakariko first. A popular choice given how dense of items are in Kakariko there. And only a bundle of arrows inside of the Lost Woods, so onward we go to the Thieves' Hideout.
What exciting item will be here? An arrow upgrade. The Lost Woods.
My heart.
The Lost Woods is home of stuff people wish were lost.
Oh, and Moosh gets a bomb drop from the pull trees. Not much good will do him now, but it will help him out with the Kakariko clear.
That's 2 more chests he can access without expending any rupees.
That is correct there. With that saving up for Zora, that 500 is not an easy thing to farm up early on there, but that 300 we got at the very beginning of the game certainly helped.
As well as that 50 that was located.
And a few 20s as well. And we've got the boomerang at the bottle vendor here, whereas Moosh is going for Blind's hut right now, finding even more money. More money. Full heart. And lastly, the hammer is our first major item found.
And thus the tempered sword damage is a major asset this early on.
If you can deal with that tiny hitbox, yes it is.
It seems kind of fitting that Blind's hut has a bunch of money and a heart in it.
Well, he loves money.
Yes, it is
With him,
indeed
it is
hammer time.
Meanwhile, Devio's checking out the chicken hut after having to buy some bombs there. Moosh is in the well and finds the power gloves.
It's so bad.
All we need now is the Moon Pearl to get Dark World access.
Yes. I'm starting to think the pedestal seat dream may be dying a little bit here.
Perhaps a little bit. We do find our first sword inside the well there. It looks like Devio is heading right there as well to, no pun intended, check it out.
Yeah. It's amazing how this early on, due to the fact that one of them did not have bombs initially, they had to diverge their routes kind of significantly.
It's a small trip down to the store vendor there, but even so, yes. And the Moon Pearl is inside of the chicken hut. So we get Dark World access right out of the gate.
Rest in peace, possible pedestal seed. There could still be progression on it, but it's not going to be needed to get into the Dark World, at least.
That is true there. We have our Dark World access right out of the gate. But unless something significant is hidden behind the pedestal, the hype meter has gone down significantly.
Here's Moucheron coming right into the library to find out that there's nothing of value there.
Yeah, Piece of Heart is not worth going out of your way for unless you happen to be there in the area already. Moosh is heading over to the race game, going to see what's there. Interesting whether he's going directly to see what is there through the race itself rather than checking it out first. Devios is still checking out his Kakariko, having just finished off, and will be heading there as well. Oh.
Good sir, that is not a trash item in the slightest.
No, the silver arrows will cut off a significant amount of time from both Ganon and several boss fights.
Yes, the game was not made to anticipate you having silvers this early on.
It will one-shot most things in the game.
With Vitreous being one of the few exceptions.
Pretty much there. Now, Moosh is going directly back to escape before he forgets about it, now that he does have bombs. We'll see what is in there, now that the rats are no longer withholding it from him. And nothing of value was found there. I mean,
a little extra health camp.
Yeah, that was worth, but not what we were hoping to find.
If he's considering going to blind early, every bit of help will actually help him.
This is true. So now that we have pretty much Dark World access there, and all of the dungeons in Dark World are available here, where do we go first there? Thieves Town seems like the easiest play to go for there. Or do you go into an early crystal or a pendant dungeon?
It looks like we might be seeing Hype Cave. Hype Cave in under 15 minutes at that.
It pretty much handed the Dark World access to us on a silver platter. And we have the Palace of Darkness and Swampy, our 2 5-6 crystals.
That's very interesting.
Mr. Hype Fox, what do you got for us? Only a piece of heart. And nothing else outside from that. We've got another heart container out of the job, but other than that, Hype Cape was more meh than anything else. Oh well.
Yes, all the crystals are in the Dark World. This is slightly vanilla in its own way. But yes, that was not a Hype Cave. That was a Yawn Cave.
Pretty much there. Looks like Moosh is wrapping back around to do some more Dark World overclearing. Devios is electing to continue his Light World clear and is checking out the dam right now, whereas Moosh is heading up towards Stompy to see what he has.
Hopefully something good.
Yet another piece of heart. Interesting.
This might very well be the healthiest seed we've seen in a while.
Devio finds the Book of Medor inside of the dam. Very interesting indeed there. It gives access to desert as yes, but you will be able to do a pedestal check if he so desires later on, as well as being able to check out the tablets once he gets the Master Sword.
Of course, you can check them out without it to see what they are.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you have access to it, you can just pull it there, but without the or no, you need the book to be able to do that.
Yes.
You-
It's what I'm saying is with the book he can see what the tablets are at least and
Yes,
decide
yes.
if he'd like to go back later.
And Moosh finds the mushroom at the digging game, a fetch quest from a slightly out of the way fetch quest place. Devios picks up a bottle from the Moldorm cave there, and another shield and boomerang. Looks like
Just
Moosh is
any
heading
bottle,
there.
a Vitor in a bottle.
We thought it was progression, but it was bees.
It could lead to progression. The bottle,
It
the sick kid could have something cool.
This is true. This is true. Meanwhile, Devios is heading towards the Ice Rod Cave right now. Going to picks up another bomb dropped by a choo-choo. We will see if anything is in there, but after that, then we may have to start going into a dungeon of someplace there. The book may hint towards Desert Palace there, but you could do Thieves Town at this point if you so feel like it.
I would probably go to Thieves Town because that's accessible like that. And it has a good item density.
And that's 4 items in it. Yes, that is true there. And we have a decent amount of heart there. Facing blind with only 7 hearts will be difficult, but not unheard of.
Indeed, meanwhile, nothing of consequence in the ice cave, unfortunately. It seems like they're finding all the rupees.
Pretty much, they do have enough to go to Zora at this point there. It's just at the other side of the world right now. But it looks like Moosh gets the fake flippers on his first try and is going to be pooling up there to try his luck and seeing what's in there, as well as checking Hobo on the way.
Of course, now that any items he finds as a consequence of this are out of sequence, which could potentially send him on the wrong path.
Potentially, yes, that is correct. But if it's something major there that lets you skip a few steps in, it will definitely come in handy. Or it could be one big, fat, giant waste of time, we'll see. And at the Hobo today, we have more money, because we don't have enough of that already.
No, we didn't have enough.
Meanwhile, Devious is using the fake flippers to get into the waterfall cave there, ignoring Hobo for the most part.
No, also, that getting back into the fake flipper state from that spot from Hobo is not the easiest trick, because you have to be on just the right spot to do it.
Pretty much there. It is a fairly hard thing to pull off there. Now, Devios is using this opportunity to head up to Zora area as well. Gonna get rid of those rupees burning a hole in his pocket right now. And Moosh is right behind him there, going to be checking out that waterfall cave as well. Nothing interesting had been found there, but we will be seeing Zora Ledge if we could scroll over a little bit to the right, but no, we'll check that out later on.
It was money. I saw it. It was more money.
Because of course it's money. What else would it be at this point? Looks like Moosh is opting for the free potion while he's here. Definitely a decent safety to have. And Zora gives a life lesson there, only giving you a full heart.
He tossed out his bee to toss the bottle into the water to get another bee.
Nice.
The fairy is a master of irony.
It's like, no, you can't get rid of bees. Have some bees!
Another heart container from Zora is not a bad thing to find this early on.
Yeah, questionable whether it's worth 500 rupees or not. But on the other hand, what else are you going to spend them on? He still has 104 left over. He's already bought the bottle. He can pay off. He's 6 rupees away from being able to pay off Kiki in full.
And I believe it costs a bit of rupees to access the chess mini game in Thieves Town.
Yeah, a few, I guess, but
the outside area is called like Village of Outcasts, but the dungeon is called Thieves Town for reasons.
Because reasons there. Now, Devios is heading into the Lost Woods to take the roundabout way to the Dark Portal. Looks like he is going to be heading towards Thieves Town right now there. Part of me was hoping that they'd do an early pedestal check just to see what it is and see if it's anything hype or not, but no. We're just going straight to the dungeon.
Yep, sometimes it's best just to do that.
Meanwhile, Moosh seems to have the same idea. We'll see if he is heading in that direction or not, or if he's going to be heading elsewhere.
Also, Chad has been helpful and provided the exact rupee totals for pretty much everything that you need rupees for.
Moosh is turning in the sick kid, and he has more money because, of course, he does.
Yeah. I'm starting to see a bit of a theme with this seed.
I started having to call these links Eddie because of all the money. Oh, but Devios finds the Titan's mitts inside of the bomb hut.
There is a bit of irony of him having to do the roundabout route to get there, only to find the thing that opens the shortcut to getting there.
This is true there. And as with the C-shaped hut there, we've got another full heart there. Now, the blind is looking less and less scary by the minute there. You should be, with this much health here, you should be able to take it on no problem. And Moosh is heading back into Skull Woods. I'll see what is inside there. Doesn't have the fire rod, so can't take out him right now. But we will see.
There. Oh, there's the bow.
He finds the bow inside of Thieves' Town there. That is huge. That opens up 2 full dungeons clearable, as well as being a required progression for the game.
Plus, it's the solid weapon regardless. And the lamp. This dungeon is just full of progression.
This is definitely where they wanted you to go right off there. But an interesting side effect of that is it opens up the game a whole lot. So where you go from here is anybody's game.
In fact, the only real blocking thing now would be the flute, I believe, wouldn't it? Which is needed to get into Misery Mire.
We still need the boots or the hookshot to get into Mire itself there. We still need the flippers to get into Ice Palace, and we still need medallions to get into Turtle Rock or Mire as well. Outside of that, yeah, the hookshot is all we really need to get to most places.
Finding those 2 items has pretty much blown the seed pretty open at this point.
Honestly, that makes it just more interesting for me there. We'll get to see some good riot divergence there and see what choices end up being the correct ones.
Of course, with all the dungeons being crystals in the Dark World, I don't think there will be any truly wrong routing choice at this time.
Yeah, that is true. It is just a matter of speed in terms of what will allow you to do the dungeons the fastest.
Well, looks like Moucheron decided Death Warp was the best choice.
You know, this deep into Skull Woods here, that's not a bad idea, to be honest.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Devios is about halfway through Thieves' Town there, just clearing out the attic right here. We'll see if there's anything else interesting.
Dealing with those lizards, no problem. They might be small, but they're probably the most dangerous thing in this dungeon.
They are fast, they're hard to hit with a hammer, and yeah, pretty much.
And they hit you back hard, too.
Honestly, I thought they were grasshoppers for the longest time. I don't know why.
I think they're lizards. Like, they look like lizards to me.
I mean, yeah, I see that now there, but I don't know why I thought they were grasshoppers.
Probably because they're green.
Most likely.
Yes, it looks like we're seeing the Thieves' Town checks being completed now on Moucheron's side.
Pretty much right now. After we finish Thieves' Town here, where do we go from here there? Palace of Darkness seems like the obvious choice to go now that we have both the hammer and the bow. But we could also... That's pretty much all that we can go unless we can find the hookshot to get over into the right side of Death Mountain. Of course, there are the other things in Death Mountain as well of interest, but even so.
Yes, Death Mountain is one of the more healthier areas in terms of item density.
However, without the hookshot, we can only get those 2 items. 3 if you count Spike Cave, but I don't think you can quite get through it just yet.
No, they don't have the resources for that, unfortunately.
Alright, so Moosh is heading into Thieves Town as well. Going to be picking up that treasure trove of items in the first part.
And it looks like
We're at-
Devos is heading upstairs once more to fight Blind. Hopefully he does well there.
With 9 hearts, it shouldn't be that much of a problem there, but he is still in green mail, and the fireballs do come fast and furious.
Plus he's not on full health either.
He is mostly, he is most of the way there, but we'll see whether or not this, as Blind says, is a piece of cake or not there. But we're already into phase 2. Blind requires 9 hits exactly, no more, no less, no matter what kind of sword you have. But he is dodging the fireballs like a pro there. He must be dodging a dodgeball champion here. And with one more hit, Blind does go down there. We have our first boss kill of the game.
That was a pretty good fight. Yeah. It looks like Blind stole a lot of money in life.
And hit it absolutely everywhere. Gracious, this seed.
And no. A boss kill in under 30 minutes is not always a common thing in Randomizer.
I mean, yeah, we got handed Silver Dark World access on the silver platter. I mean, that's the thing the scene is about to. But Devious is on the move. We will see to where he goes to next. He could technically release the frogs right now. We'll see if he ends up doing that. But he looks like he's heading over to the digging game to find what we know is the mushroom, which hasn't been turned in yet. So it may or may not be interesting progression.
Or it could just be money.
Because
no one has seen it. Knowing this seed so far probably is money.
Pretty much there. The question is, how much money can we give out before it's all gone?
At least Neither Runner will have to worry about paying off any of the remaining things that need rupees.
Pretty much, you can buy all the potions you want at this point too, more or less.
And potions are a lovely safety item to get if you happen to be in the area.
This is true there. They do need to turn in that mushroom anyway there. So Devious is heading up to Stumpy to pick up the item from him. As we already know, it's not terribly interesting, just a piece of heart. But you want to get it out of your mind, out of the back of your head right now. So we still need the mirror for Swamp Palace. We still need... We can get the Tower of Hera, we can get the Eastern Palace, we can get the Desert Palace. We still need the flippers for Ice Palace. We still need both of the medallions for Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, not to mention the Hookshot and Bow. And of course the canes. Or, sorry, the rods.
Yes, there's still many, many items missing.
It could still be any number of places there. Devious is going to be checking out the Cave of Meh.
Yes, the Cape of Take a Nap.
Alright, so Moosh is heading through the jail inside of Thieves Town. Part of me wonders, like, what does a bunch of thieves call a jail there? They're thieves. Do they put themselves in something else instead?
I don't know. That is an interesting question in its own right, but Chat has pointed out that they cannot get the Hera without the mirror or the hookshot.
Oh, that's right there. I was remembering that the hammer would get you across the bridge, but you need the hookshot to get it over to that side in the first place.
Exactly. We're having a pyramid check.
Interessante.
Let's see what Ganon has left out in the sun. I kind of, like, in my head, I kind of envision the Dark World as a very cloudy, gloomy place, so there might not be all that much sunlight.
Pretty much there. But nothing interesting there because Devious just ditches it. Not going to even spend the time to go pick it up. I didn't get a quick look at what it was.
It was a piece of heart,
Bush is taking on Blind right now, whereas Devious is heading into the Palace of Darkness area. It is a rich dungeon there with, if I'm not mistaken, 5 non-key items in there. Non-key dungeon items.
Of course, the downside of the place is due to how it is constructed. Most of the initial chests that are open likely will have a key.
Pretty much there. But it still is probably, in terms of pure chests, to open, the best place to go at the moment, unless you really feel like doing a pendant dungeon.
Yes, it looks like Blind has once again been defeated. But I wonder where he will go now. He has more than a few options.
Now, Devious did not elect to do the frogs right now there, though you have to do the save and quit thing there. You can do them right now, and Moucheron picks up the blacksmith frog and will be heading over there. I'm not sure if he realizes that he can't mirror just yet, but you may just be taking him on the world tour and checking out the hammer pegs at the moment.
That's what I was just about to say, actually. It's a good choice to wrap up everything you can before you save and quit.
Alright, so he takes out those pegs there. Devios is into the main portion of pod there, and we just find arrows inside of the hammer pegs. So onward we go on the Blacksmith's World Tour.
What little the world... No, it looks like the world tour has been cancelled. Probably for the best. I imagine that frog didn't really feel like being a frog much longer anyways.
Oh, interesting there. He is draining his magic using the lantern. They're going to be going for the fake powder glitch while they're in the area.
Yes, that glitch was discovered during the fall tournament, if I remember correctly.
Interesting.
Where if you attempt to use... I think you try and use the mushroom and switch to the cane on the frame right after, or something like that.
I believe all you need is the mushroom and no magic in your magic bar to be able to do it there, but the details elude me a tiny bit.
Well, you do need the red cane there, because something about the way it works causes the glitch to happen.
But he does turn in the dwarf smiths there and get some more bombs. But we will check out the Mad Bat while we're here.
Another technically out of sequence item to find.
And from the Mad Bat, we have the Full Heart. Another
That's a terrible curse to get.
Ooh, Devios finds the Ether Medallion inside of the Palace of Darkness there. We don't know if that's going to be useful yet or not, because we have not seen hide nor hair of the Turtle Rock or Misery Mire requirements, but it should be interesting and definitely worth it if they have to take a gamble on it later on.
That's right. For right now, however, that medallion doesn't help them until they have more information to work with.
More or less there.
Oh,
and
the ice rod!
Now that is an item that is hard to track down there. It can be almost literally anywhere.
Including Turtle Rock. I've seen that happen a few times.
Pretty much there, yes. I mean, it can't be behind Trinex himself, but even so. But Moosh is making the same call, going to be heading over to Palace of Darkness himself. But right now, there doesn't seem to be that much progression just as of yet.
Yes, it seems like the Palace of Darkness is unfortunately a little lacking.
Well, we still have a ways to go there, but we pick up the big key. We'll be able to finish off the boss at least at this point there. Not that we had any concern about doing that, but even so.
And also open the big chest.
True.
In there.
Convenient time to find that there. So heading into the dark maze we go, while Moucheron is entering in Palace of Darkness as well. About half a dungeon behind him, but still a good thing to, good choice to make.
Another piece of heart. I suspected they would be coming this way once they found the lamp so early on like that.
Dark mazes are a pain in the butt to do, so yes.
And I guess
All right, inside of the big chest we have the dungeon map. Unfortunate there. Looks like we're gonna just end it all with a bomb and gonna be death looping right back to the start.
Looks like Trinex likely will have the last item then.
Well, Helmsor King, but yes.
Oh, there's so many things in this game, it's so easy to get confused for a moment.
Pretty much there. I mean, yes. Alright there. So we've got Devious making his way over towards the lead up to Helmsor King. Moosh is starting his Palace of Darkness clear. So after they find, unless there's something interesting inside of Helmsor King there, it looks like the only place we can really go to right now is either Eastern Palace or Desert Palace at the moment.
I've noticed a lot of people that run Randomizer seem to almost be reluctant to go to a pendant dungeon. Like, they would prefer to avoid it if they can.
It's more of a Murphy's Law thing. The one time you check a pendant dungeon there, it's a complete waste of time because not even the boss kill will give you anything. And of course, the time you don't check a pendant dungeon, it's got progression in it, because of course it does.
Naturally. Of course, they could get hookshot off a Helmsor King here, and that gives them so many more options to work with.
Pretty much, yeah. That would open up the entirety of East Death Mountain there, light and dark. It would give them access to nowhere else at the present moment until we find the flute, I believe.
Or the flippers.
This is true, yes.
While the hookshot is not necessary to access Swamp, it is necessary to beat it, so...
We still need the mirror at this point.
And that, too. It's like, they have quite a few pieces of the puzzle, but they're missing a lot of key pieces as well.
But we will see what's behind Helmsor King right now as Devious is smacking him in the face with that mallet as we speak, playing whack-a whatever this is. It's a scorpion? I don't know. But one silver arrow to the noggin will take him down.
Yes. I believe without the silvers, it takes many arrow hits to kill him.
Pretty much, and you need a pretty upgraded sword to be able to do decent damage to it as well.
Of course, the hammer can still continue to damage him, but it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, it is there. It's still got that tiny hitbox. But there's no progression inside of Palace of Darkness. Although the Ice Rod does help there, it does not open up anything else new in the world there. So it looks like Devious is going to be heading to its Light World counterpart, the Eastern Palace. Now, one thing of note is that neither player has checked the desert of the Desert Palace area there, meaning Agina's Cave or the Desert Ledge, now that is open as well. So if there is more stuff inside of Eastern Palace, whereas Desert Palace only has like, what, 2, maybe 3 items tops?
Yes. Right now, heading this way, it has a bit more item density.
Now, this is a good time to check out Sasha's hut there. That is 3 chests right here. Inside we've got half magic, that's useful. A single rupee, not so useful. And the mirror. Now that's a good find.
That's extremely useful.
Not only is it mobility in terms of just light to dark, dark to light movement there, it will also open up the Swamp Palace as well. And with that, Devious is abandoning the plan to go to Eastern Palace and is going straight to Swamp instead.
Yes, at that point, it could be the right play.
Or actually, it looks like he's heading towards Death Mountain there. With the mirror, he can get over into the eastern portion of it and the plethora of chests that lie there.
As well as check out Tower of Hera. Because Tower of Hera is a green pendant. He might decide, I'll just grab the green pendant really quick. It could be important.
That is a possible gamble he could take there. It's not the longest time sink in the world there, but it still is significant. Oh, yes, thank you for reminding me. You can't do Swamp Palace yet. We still don't have the flippers.
If only there was a way to fake flippers in Swamp Palace.
We haven't figured out that one quite yet. So yeah, that mirror mainly just opens up the eastern side of Death Mountain, so progression is likely to be over here somewhere, or perhaps against some other mirror-locked location in the overworld.
Yes, there are quite a few chests up here, and any one of them could have things.
7 alone in Paradox Cave, 2 in Spectacle Rock and Spectacle Rock Cave. Can't access a Hookshot Cave just yet without any Hookshot, obviously, but we'll see what else there is to find. You can check what information that Turtle Rock has, and we can get inside of it there, but without the fire rod, we may have to rely on some key luck to get inside.
Pretty much.
Yeah, just a piece of heart inside of Spectacle Rock on there, and I didn't catch what was inside, but I'm assuming we shall find out sooner or later. Either that or it's just not too useful. And we're going to have an ether tablet check here. On the tablet, we have just more money, because of course we do.
I'm actually pretty excited to see what is coming up. Oh, it looks like we are going to get the green pendant, or at least see what items are in there. Tower Hera only has 2 possible items, but the way the randomizer works, it could be something necessary.
Now, Mirror does also give us a lot of faster routing throughout dungeons, as warping to the start of the dungeon is invaluably useful in some cases.
Now this is rare, getting to see the basement before the boss is dead.
I haven't found the large key just yet, I don't believe there, so we're going to have to go through the tile room. Or take a coffee break.
Well, this is a good chance to get out, get a drink. Or at least it was until he fell off the little wall things.
Oh well. Should be not much room to move her there, but the tiles can come in only so many directions, so he should be fine.
And Moucheron takes down Helmasaur, no problem.
Defeats him with the power of nudity.
That is a pretty scary power.
Oh, I didn't catch what was in the basement chest there, but it must be the big key, otherwise we can't really go much further.
Yes. The one time we miss something, we know exactly what it is.
Thankfully so, yes. We will see where Moosh ends up going from here.
I actually kind of wonder where he is off to on foot.
Looks
Maybe
like
catfish?
maybe he is in the area. Could work out. Still nothing of interest found in Eastern Palace just as of yet, but with a bomb jump, you will be able to make it over to that other side rather than going around the long way. And inside, we have the flippers inside of Tower of Hera. It is required after all. A good play made here by DevioXS. We'll see how long it will take Moosh to go venture into Tower of Hera.
With that, another dungeon becomes accessible, and he takes a little fall, unfortunately.
2 dungeons, in fact, there with the Titan. No, we don't have a reliable fire source yet. My bad.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Either the fire rod or bombos will be required.
We'll see which one that is there. But it looks like, yes, Mooch is heading up towards Catfish there, while Devios is taking on the King of Trolls, Moldorm himself.
That's unlike a lot of bosses, Moldorm doesn't really have a fixed pattern, and that makes fighting him exceptionally dangerous.
As you can see, whereas with a third strike with the hammer there, the Troll King goes down.
This tempered sword damage from the hammer makes the fight a little bit easier. Unfortunately, he didn't provide any useful items, but we have another dungeon clear, and there's nothing wrong with that.
He can turn in the green pendant when he ends up going into Eastern Palace anyway there. But Quake, we've got Vanilla Quake on top of Catfish.
Is this even randomized?
Clearly, it's the most random. You never expect it if it's not when it's vanilla.
Even chat seems a little surprised at the Vanilla Quake.
I have a feeling there's a pun in there somewhere, but I can't really think of it right now.
No, I can't. I can't either.
Alright, so Moosh is going to be heading into Sasha's hut here, going to be finding that mirror very shortly. We'll see if he decides to go towards Hera to get those, what we know is the flippers there, or if he's going to go to Eastern Palace while he's here.
It seems like at least one pendant dungeon is a decent payoff this time.
Indeed there. We'll have to, I mean, part of me thinking that book is sort of hinting that something's in Desert Palace there, but the odds are kind of low.
Plus, there's a chance that Desert is bootlocked, which would be bad.
And a giant waste of time if that were the case, yes. Alright, and so we've got the blue mail inside of Paradox Cave and the powder. Unfortunately, we already know that powder has Jack Squad behind it there, but it does give good safety as well.
Powder here, as well as blue mail, which a nice change of clothes for more protection.
Or in Moosh's case, a nice change of leaf, but...
I know.
Hey, look,
Admittedly, that's
another
right.
300 rupee stash, because we needed more of those. We've got the cape, interesting. That does put Spike Cave in logic now that we have half magic and cape, as well as the hammer. We are in the area as well. Will he check that out later on?
Like, the nature link sprite just makes me go, why? Basically, like, why does this exist?
Because why not? Alright, so we still need the fire rod, we still need the flute, we still need the hook shot, as people put down. We might need the boots, we don't know yet.
And we might need bombos. Might. Turtle Rock can be opened with Ether. Interesting. Devios might be just hopping in real quick.
Can't full clear it without fire rod, and he likes to not do venture in until he finds more items. Maybe worth his time here. Now you can get into one chest inside of Hookshot Cave without the hookshot, but that's about it there. And inside of Eastern Palace, Moosh finds another mail upgrade as well. So they both have blue mail from different places.
That's actually interesting.
Oh, and
don't see that too often.
Hookshot inside of the Super Bunny Cave.
Incredible. The pedestal dream. The pedestal dream is on life support right about now.
Pretty much. There's not much else you can find under there aside from what we've already discussed. But it looks like Death Mountain is absolutely loaded in terms of just progression items there.
Yes, like the changes to the logic in V29 have favored the overworld, Unlike
Pretty
V28,
much.
which tended to favor dungeons. A fairy in a bottle. Looks like Moucheron's not going to complete the place. Oh, and we managed to miss Devio there, acquiring the Master Sword.
Oh yes, he did get that from Hookshot Cave. That is correct. I forgot to mention that.
And the Sanctuary Heart, apparently, as well.
Always amusing there. But with all those finds there, that really just opens up still Swamp Palace to go as outside of the beginning of Turtle Rock there, which without the fire rod there is our only thing to do, because you can't get into the rest of Turtle Rock there without the fire rod to open up those other 2 chests to get the key.
Indeed.
So the only other crystal dungeon we can really access right now is Swamp Palace at the moment, until we find the fire rod or bombos or the flute.
Yep, so it's now down to just a few more items.
Devio is heading for the for the spike cave there. See what's in behind there.
Yes, with the magic cape, he must be thinking that's some sort of hint.
Quite possibly, or we might have another appendant dungeon dip required somewhere.
It seems like so far dipping into at least one pendant dungeon is necessary, and desert is a huge unknown at the moment. It could have anything.
Pretty much, yeah. But with that, we've got Spike Death Mountain pretty much cleared out as much as we can at the moment, so onward we go there. We will see where Devio heads from here.
So it should be interesting to see what he decides to, where he goes to.
Moosh is following in his footsteps. They're going to Hera's right away. Going to be picking up his flippers. He'll be glad to find them. But meanwhile, Devio is heading where? Oh, he's heading to the Dark World, because of course he is.
He's just taking out, like, we know he's going to the Dark World, but it's hard to discern just where he's going.
He could theoretically be going to Bumper Cave, but I kind of doubt it, to be honest. He's already checked Scope-Woods, I believe, or did just Moosh do that? It might have been Moosh who just did that there, and Devio hasn't looked in it yet. Unfortunately, he'll find that nothing of interest is in there.
Yeah, it must have been Moucheron that went through.
Pretty much there. So that will give Moosh a little bit of time to catch up to Devio in terms of pure items.
Of course, Devio has a few more items of his own that speed up the checks in this place in subtle ways.
Such as? Anyhow, so Moosh will be picking up his all of his goodies from the East Death Mountain soon, but it's going to take a while for him to check it out there. So beyond here, it looks like we're probably going to have to either go to either Swamp Palace or Desert Palace right now there. I believe most of Eastern Palace got cleared out, but not completed. I wonder, must have found all the dungeon items, or all the non-key items in there, taking down the Armor's Knight's a waste of time.
Unless something's on the pedestal.
This is true there, but that's sort of a gamble that Moosh is willing to take, apparently. Now, I believe that, was it Devios who fake powdered his way to through to the bat there, or was that Moosh? I believe it was Devios, because Moosh just picked up the powder there and won't be needing to check. Well, there's nothing on the bat there, but he'll be able to check it nonetheless.
Oh, I
Oh.
I think we're getting a pedestal check.
All right, let's see what we have, folks, on the pedestal. Today we have just more cash because, of course, we did.
Isn't that how this seed works? The pedestal dream has died.
Unless another 800 rupees you can't spend appeals to you. But that is still peace of mind there. So once you can do all of the pendant dungeons, and once you find all of the items in there, just jet out of there, and the boss is not required. So onward we go. Where to next, Devio?
Yes, what mysterious place will you check first now? Bumper Cave?
Looking a little bit like that there. I'm not sure if we got a good look at it. Moosh picks up his hookshot down there. He's gotten another item of progression.
I'll say he has the red. He also has the red mail now, or the red leaf in his case, which gives him a solid amount of protection.
And possibly a rash.
Yeah, I don't think you should be wearing a red leaf there, my friend. That might be poison ivy.
That brings a good point. I don't believe that green pendant has been checked either. That we've gotten it, but we haven't turned it in yet.
It should be exciting to see just what it is.
This is true there. Devio is going through some overworld checks here. At the graveyard ledge there, we are finding... well, we have to bomb up the wall first there, but after that... nothing of interest there.
Unfortunate.
Looks like Moosh is going to make a short detour into Turtle Rock there, but we'll soon find that it's more or less locked up there, because outside of that first chest, he cannot check anything else right now. And with that Dark World transition there, Devious will be heading into Swamp Palace shortly. The most logical play that we can make at the moment there. We'll see if it turns out to be interesting, or if we're going to have a required dip into another pendant dungeon.
I'm kind of hoping for it at this point. I like to see all the dungeons.
This is true there. Alright, so in we go. And yes, we've got someone bringing up that point as well, that we haven't checked Moucheron either. We still got a few fetch quests to go dig her out so far.
Interesting that Moucheron made the same choice that Devio did. To do a quick dip in the Turtle Rock.
Well, the trek up Death Mountain takes a lot of time there, so while you're there, you might as well. And if it doesn't pay off like that, you haven't wasted that much time, especially with the mirror to get yourself out. But it looks like Moosh is going straight into Swamp as well. It's going to be catching up with Devio only by a few rooms, so not as far as behind as one might think.
It's always nice to see after massive route divergence, they pick the same path and pretty much diverge on a single point.
More or less there. Although Moosh has not touched Palace of has not touched Tower of Hera all the way up to Moldor, so he doesn't have that green pendant. He got the mirror and jetted, I believe.
Where's Moucheron going? He's taking a bit of a different route.
Wait, did Moosh pick up the flippers there? I know he was going through Tower of Hera, but I didn't see him pick it up. Did he just end up jetting out of there?
I think he might have been heading towards Ice Palace and then realized, oh, I can't get in.
Oh, interesting. He gave up on Tower of Hera, so he doesn't have those flippers.
Oh. But he does have the book now, so he might head towards Desert.
We will have to see what is there. Ooh, that could be a killer for Moosh there. We'll have to see how this turns out.
Oh, he's thinking, it seems. Just trying to decide where he should be going.
Which pendant dungeon do we go to?
Hopefully it's back to the Tower of Hera.
Oh, it looks like we've got word there that looks like Moosh found out that the big key was in the tower room and just decided to forget that.
Now it looks like I think he's heading towards the Bombos tablet.
Yeah, you can check all the other mirror locations here as well. And be able to check Agina's cave and whatever happens to be inside of Desert Palace and Desert Ledge.
Hopefully something good. He's going to need a real winner of an item at this point, I think.
And unfortunately, 20 rupees is not going to be that item. Leaving Agina's cave for on the way out there, heading straight over the Desert Ledge. There, a piece of heart on the ledge. Nothing interesting there, but let's see what's inside of Desert itself.
With only 2 items, however, it's not the best dive in the world to do. And worse, it could be boots locked. This could be a pretty bad waste of time, unfortunately.
Well, we have to see here. There's the possibility that he gets lucky with the key placement inside the dungeon. So, let's see where that goes there. And outside of well, he's getting this here. If it's a small key, he'll be able to continue on. But finds the tempered sword there. I would say that's worth his time there, but he isn't able
cannot
to
continue.
Yeah, he can't get to the end of the dungeon. The small key to get through is right there. So you can't check that chest out there unless he steals a key from the boss area of it there. But then would not be able to take land molas on himself.
I don't think he's realized that he is bootlocked. Yeah, I have a feeling that he's probably feeling a little lost right now.
It's starting to look a little bit like that way, but yeah, he's taking just the shortcut to Agina's cave. They're going to be finding out where he needs to go now. I believe he did some of Eastern Palace already, but I could be mistaken. But no, we have more rupees.
The Kingdom of Hyrule decide everyone needs $20.
We have 955 rupees here in our pocket we cannot spend outside of potions. Meanwhile, Devios is just trucking right on through Swamp House. There has not found anything of note as of yet. But we will see what else is in here. Either way there, he does need to complete this dungeon one way or the other because it is a crystal dungeon.
Yes, and without all 7, there is no getting into Ganon's Tower.
Pretty much, yes. And Moosh is heading back into the Dark World there. Let's hope that he goes back up to Tower of Hera. Having ditched it the first time there, we'll see if he's heading in the right direction. We'll see if that's where he goes. No, he's heading south over towards perhaps the purple chest? Is that what he's banking on?
It's looking like it. It could have the fire rod for all I know, and then he'd be sort of
the flute.
Or the flute, yes.
Meanwhile, Devious is taking on Argus there. It takes 2 slashes with the Master Sword to destroy a puff ball. But even so, he should be going down fairly quickly there. 1 more to go, and then he'll be into phase 2. Whereas Moosh is taking on the chest on its world tour.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of adventure for an inanimate object.
Oh, and Argus has the boots on him.
Interesting.
Now, that doesn't unlock all that much since we already have the hook shot there, aside from a few chests. But it does make getting around a whole lot faster, that is for sure.
Indeed it does. Their seed has turned out kind of interesting so far.
One of the things, Devios did find the Bombos medallion, and I must imagine that was in swamp somewhere, because I did not notice when he had picked it up. But with the Bombos medallion there, that does let him get into Ice Palace now.
Thus, a bit more of progression has been attained.
Pretty much there. Devio just finding the bug net inside of the big chest in swamp there. Declares not worth and gets the cuss out of there.
On the upside, we might be able to see swag Aghanim strats. At least Aghanim 2.
Hypothetically, yeah. And yet, Devio is making a beeline for Ice Palace. Meanwhile, Moosh is back up on top of Death Mountain there, probably going to be checking out Tahara. Probably just going to be mad at himself for not checking out that tile room. And continuing on through Hera. But some ways, that's just the way the chips fall in Randomizer.
Unfortunately, Devio is going into Ice Palace while not in go mode, so he may have to explore the entire thing.
Possibly there. We still definitely need that flute, and we definitely need that fire rod. We have all three pendants found between the two runners, but outside of that, all we need is that fire rod and flute. 2 items to go mode.
And we're only an hour and 6 minutes in at that.
Pretty much there. I mean, we still have several dungeons to go on Devio's side there. Still has 1, 2, 3, 4 dungeons to do, although he's doing one of them right now.
Yes, it seems like Moucheron may have realized that he may have forgotten something.
It might be a forgetfulness there. It might just be not wanting to deal with the freaking tile room.
Well, no one wants to deal with tile room.
I don't know who would want to deal with tile room.
Like, this is the perfect chance to like put the controller down, take a deep breath, and relax.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I believe this is one of the few glitches that can be done in the North American release that we got.
True, true. Now, Devio does not go for the Ice Palace bomb jump. Very interesting choice made there.
He does have to full clear it, so the bomb jump is usually used if you don't have to full clear it, from what I've seen.
I believe it still saves a significant amount of time there, but we will see.
Of course, he could be unfamiliar with the trick, like how to do it, because it's actually a relatively easy trick because it has multiple places where you can stand and it'll work. Unlike most bomb jumps, where if you're a pixel off, you lose, basically.
Pretty much, yes.
Looks like Devio is having absolutely no problem in this dungeon. He has all the weapons needed to get through it without much difficulty.
Oh, a couple of rage slashes at finding the flippers inside that chest there, but he is heading out of there.
It is a potential gamble to skip out on the green pendant.
At this point there, it's unlikely that we're going to need that for whatever's behind Sasha, but knowing the seed so far, it could either be a bunch of rupees or it could be the fire rod or the flute.
I actually forgot what was in Spike Cave, so this is kind of convenient for me.
Now, if we don't find Fire Rod here, it would have to be inside of one of the pendant dungeons, I would believe.
He is starting to run out of options.
More or less, I don't believe we checked the cave south of Grove yet, and there's a few. And with the boots, we have a few other places we can check as well. But yeah, outside of that, we are running out of places. We have Mushroom to check there. I haven't found the shovel yet, though. We can check the cave south of the Grove. We can. What else can we do? We can check the stuff over at Graveyard. We can both do King's Tomb because we've already done the Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, Devio has quite a few options to investigate. However, Moucheron, on the other hand, not as many locations to check out.
Pretty much. Alright, but Devio, having cleared out ice for the most part there, is heading into the Cold Stair fight. I believe he's got a few places to go, but might be just faster to take on Cold Stair and go from the front rather than backtrack for it there.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if it is faster or not. Of course, Chad is saying that he found all 3 items, so he can skip the rest of Ice Palace.
Yeah, nothing of consequence was found in Ice Palace there. So now we're gonna play our favorite game of don't poke other people's around, kids. Gets 2 of the Cold Stair puff balls down there, and the 3rd one goes down with the Tempered Sword. And yeah, we just find the compass on Cold Stair and the next crystal there. Only 3 more to go.
Yes. Devio is blowing straight through these dungeons.
Pretty much, he just has Skullwoods, Amir the Remire, and Turtle Rock to go, but all of them are not completable as of yet. So where is the next place that he will check? We've got a lot of one-offs to go, but in terms of dungeons, he's got Desert Palace to go, and I don't believe he's gone around the Eastern Palace, but I believe that's already been checked as well.
It looks like finally checking out the hobo, which unfortunately did not pay off earlier for anyone.
Pretty much. But Moosh is doing Swamp Palace right now. He is about... He's got Swamp... He needs to finish Swamp Palace, he needs to finish Ice Palace. He's more or less about a dungeon and a half behind at the present moment there. Depending on whether you include Hera or not, because Green Pendant is all that was left there.
I'm still thinking the green pendant might lead to something that they need.
If it is, he's gonna kick himself. I just know it. No.
Like, with so few, like Devio does have quite a few more options, but the options are dwindling.
Now he still has to check Pyramid Fairy, which is what Devio is doing right now. He has both 5 and 6 crystals from Swamp and from Palace of Darkness. So we're gonna have our 3rd follower of the game. Well, 4th actually.
Yes, and this one is a giant explosive. Link escorts a lot of weird things in this game.
Have any of you guys seen a big bomb around here?
At least this bomb is a lot more stable compared to its Link Between Worlds version.
Pretty much, yeah, there. I like my doors, I like my bombs, about to explode!
I don't get the reference, but it is funny, so...
Alright, got the fire shield inside of Pyramid Fairy. Helpful, but not what we're looking for, so onward we go.
And the other shield upgrade was at Spectacle Rock, I believe, in the cave. So
That is correct. I mean, Mirror Shield doesn't help out that much, but I mean, if you happen to be in the area, it might be worth it, question mark.
If anything, it might even be a hindrance in some cases. Because it takes up like half a Link's sprite.
Pretty much there. And sometimes you just need that shadow. But Devio is heading over to Catfish at the moment there. It's going to be finding the Quake Medallion here, giving him all 3 medallions, and giving him certainty to be able to get into Misery Mire whenever you find out what the medallion there is.
Yes, nothing is stopping Devio from getting in now, no matter what it is.
And Moosh has all 3 medallions too, but we'll see where he goes after he finishes Swamp. He's about 3/4 way through right now. Should be finishing up shortly. Alright, so starting our one-offs there, we got the King's Tomb, and inside the King's Tomb today, contestants, we have the Blue Rupee.
What a poor king.
It's like, I'll teach those Tomb Raiders there. Raid my tomb, why don't you? There, you're gonna find Jack's squad. Alright, checking the Bonacrocs there. After he checks the Bonacrocs, I expect him to be going checking the Witch next. It is a little bit out of the way, but we'll see.
With limited options, it never hurts to go out of the way at this point.
He could have routed it in when he checked Catfish, this is true. I would just imagine that he didn't think of it at the time. Alright, where is Devio going to now? He's pretty much checked out most everything he can. Let's see if did he take Jeremiah on his grand tour? I'm not sure. No, he has not. He still has that to do.
We could have Rodsmiths, for all we know.
Well, we already checked there. I think the
Oh, yeah, we
Smiths
did.
didn't have much else there. However, Moosh is taking on Argus right now. He will be having those boots very shortly. The fight is a little bit faster with a tempered sword. Each puff only taking 1 slash to deal with there, so he's making up some time on this fight. Devio is taking down care of the hammer pegs right now, remembering that he already did some of those. And Moosh takes on his crystal there, and now has finished. Let's see here, 4 crystals there, or no, 3 crystals, and has 4 left to go.
This delay in Devio finding the fire rod might give him a chance to catch up.
That is true there. It really depends on where it is. Devio is checking out the magic bat now. Unfortunately, we know nothing is here. At this point, it has to either be at the Witch, has to be in Desert Palace right side, or perhaps behind Land Molus. I'm struggling to think of where else it could possibly be at this point there. Where have they not checked?
The options are looking increasingly limited.
And by picking up the chest there, that sort of signals to me that it's going to go over to Desert Palace, going to be running through there after turning in the chest. It'd be the routing decision there. Now, that's something I hadn't seen before. I'd forgotten about that glitch distance where you can get into Hammer Peg's cave without doing all the hammers. Or pegs.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Honestly, neither did I, but apparently you can, so you learn something new every day.
Do you know how it works?
Absolutely not. But he did half the pegs, went to Light World, mirrored back, then did the same half of pegs again a second time. So I'm guessing it counts the amount of pegs you've done total, making it slightly easier, I guess. I don't know.
I guess it would work if, like, you were bringing the frog back home. Like, you could quickly do that, and then, after leaving, grab the chest and do the rest of them.
I can imagine that the door is opened up by a peg counter instead of just having all pegs set to 0 or whatever.
It looks like chat has explained it for us. Thank you, chat.
Yay.
As always, chat is an amazing asset for us commentators.
Pretty much there. I don't believe Moosh has checked the purple chest, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was thinking about it then, but ended up checking out someplace else instead. But it only has a piece of heart, so good thing he did not.
But now Devio has very few options. I think the only options left are the ones you outlined for us.
Pretty much, yeah. Now we have 2 items to go mode there. We have the flute and the fire rod there. One, either they're both in desert, or one is on the witch and one is in desert. So, unless I'm mistaken, there's something of value has to be inside that desert right side.
Well, we know one of the items in desert is nothing of consequence. That's why it's bootlocked. I think it was a rupee or something.
This is true, yes. Oh, derp. Yeah, we've been talking all this time about Sasha, and I forgot that we include him in the list as well. That green pendant might be biting Moosh in the butt again. Well, not again, but he would have to make a 3rd trip up to Hare if that were the case.
Oh, that would be awful.
Alright, so Devio is heading over to the right side of Desert momentarily. Gonna be getting this sword here in Desert Palace. First player to get the Butter Sword, huzzah for him. A modest upgrade from the Tempered Sword in terms of just sheer killing things time, but good nonetheless.
Yeah, like, it will simplify the Ganon fight quite dramatically.
I think it takes the same amount of cycles as before there, but it requires less hits overall. And just 50 rupees inside the right side chest there, so with the 50 rupees and the butter sword there, that is both Desert Palace items there. There's nothing behind Land Molus there. So we have to have something at Witch and something at Sasha. Unless I'm forgetting something again, like a derp.
Meanwhile, it seems like since all the items in Ice Palace have been collected, it's time to go fight a boss.
Oh, and Devio is heading in to turn in the green pendant now there. What is behind it there? It is the flute there. We've got the flute inside of Sasha there, which means opens up a lot of stuff to be inside of Misery Mire. So this fire rod might be somewhere in there.
But
of course, it could still be at the witch there. But with that flute there, we can just warp straight to there and check that lickety-split.
That might have been what he was waiting for the entire time. Because it is inconvenient to have just walked out there.
Pretty much there. But here, everyone, please rise. We have the National Swag Duck Anthem.
I don't know the song. Like, I've heard it, but I do not have it memorized. Unfortunately, we don't get to hear it because our audio is on Moucheron.
Oh well, we all know it in our hearts.
Yes.
So Moosh, having finished up Ice Palace and found no further progression there, where does he go next there? Does he know he has to go back up to Hera and defeat Moldorm? Trolldorm trolling from beyond the grave.
Yes. Well, it's not beyond the grave yet for one of our runners.
Pretty much, yes. Oh, and the fire rod is inside of the Meyer hut.
Ladies
So we
and
have
gentlemen,
Vito in go mode, I believe. Yes, he
Yes. we have a go mode at less than an hour and a half in at that.
is. Now this will make Mystery Meyer significantly faster there, because once he finds that big key, he can go straight to the boss. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. We have enough of that already.
Also, vanilla means of getting into Misery Mire.
Interessante. Alright, so here we go there. Moosh is checking out the Pyramid Fairy there. Nothing there to be found, unfortunately, for him, but it's a good thought.
He must be trying to avoid going back to Tower Hera at any cost, but he must.
Pretty much there. I mean, would you want to triple dip Tower of Hera and have it be nothing?
No.
But the one time you don't, the one place he takes two gambles is where progression is in two different places.
Yes, at this point, I dare say Dio has a very commanding lead.
He has the go mode advantage there, and he, what else? Well, he still has about a dungeon and a half lead on him too. Well, in terms of pure dungeons, yeah, Moosh just has to finish kill Moldorm, and that's all. He doesn't have to do the rest of Tower of Hera aside from just climb it there. Aside from that, they are equal on dungeons, I believe. But with every second Moosh is searching for that flute there, Devio is getting that much closer to Ganon. Excuse me, hiccups.
It happens. But yes. Meanwhile, Devio is just, due to the fact he is in go mode, he is able to progress through it a little differently. He's only searching for that big key.
Hasn't found it just yet there. Sort of running out of chests to find there, but still has a decent amount of mire to explore there. Is putting off that cutscene room chest there just because it takes so darn long. But we will see where it lies. And there it is, right near the exit to the boss room there. Just up and to the left here, and he should be on that path shortly. So outside of just not being able to find the flippers there, I mean, is there any other contributing factors to why Moosh is behind there, aside from just taking two gambles in Hera and having neither of them pay off?
I think that is the main one.
Pretty much there. It's well, it's not having neither of them pay off; it's having both of them blow up in his face, unfortunately.
Yes, but he should realize shortly.
It's running out of places to check, that's for sure. And yes, Moosh's sprite is, as we have referred to, Nature Link. Nudist
Yes.
Link. Hippie Link.
Yes, Link forgot his pants and tunic today. Like he was in such a hurry to rescue Zelda.
Alright, and Devio is made its way through his mire and is going to be taken on Vitreous right now. With the Silver Arrows, this makes things easy there. Butter Sword plus Cape makes things fast there, or you can even just one-shot every single eyeball with Silver Arrows if you really want to. But it won't even take him a half of his magic meter at this rate there, because down he goes already. Not even a third of his magic meter drained.
Being able to use the cape like that is a massive asset because the gold sword is extremely fast.
Pretty much there. And while it may look like a nature link is a bad boon there, that is just a censoring leaf, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately. Does anyone really want to look at Link's butt? Alright, so we've got Devio being able to go mode both Skullwoods and the remainder of Skullwoods and the remainder of Turtle Rock there. It's gonna slip my mind for a moment. They've both taken small dips into there. But yeah, this should be fairly quick.
Yes. With this shelf and weaponry, Mafia will pose absolutely no threat to Devio.
Be able to squish him like the bug that he is there. Alright, Moosh opting to go into Desert Palace there. Going to be finding that other item inside of the right side of Desert, but it's only 50 rupees, so he's going to be very disappointed when he finds this.
Yes. But yes, I think it was the Tower Hera plays that have put Moucheron on that quite significant distance behind Devio.
Unfortunately so there, and just cheers the... I don't want to call it stubbornness there, but I'm trying to think of the word that it would be. He just doesn't want to go over to Tower of Hera again, because you don't want to triple dip that and have it be nothing. Moosh, having lost count of the items inside of Desert there, doesn't realize that Land Mollusk has nothing left on him. But Devio is whacking Mafia like a pinata there, should be taking him down pretty shortly.
Yes, Mafia has issues with his room, some of which are fixed in Randomizer. But in the vanilla game, if you had the gold sword, it would do, I believe, spin attacks would do nothing to Mafia for reasons.
Perhaps like an integer underflow or something like that? I don't know.
Oh. It has something to do with the spikes. Like, the spikes are a certain tier of damage, but that tier is shared with the gold sword. And Mafia is programmed not to take damage from spikes, so in turn, the most powerful sword bounces.
That is interesting. Well, I mean, you can't really debug against something that should not be able to happen according to the developer's logic.
Like, you would have to not fight bosses, basically, for a while.
Pretty much there. Oh, that someone brings up a good point there. I think Moosh might be betting on a pedestal seed that we know is not the case.
I could have swore that he's done a pedestal checker. Was that Devio?
I believe that was Devio. Devio knew pretty early.
Oh no.
Of all the time to start collecting pendants there, we were starting with a red one, not the green. Meanwhile, Devio has finished up Skull Woods there, is going into Turtle Rock now, and will be finishing up his last dungeon and then heading over to Ganon's Tower.
Go mode Turtle Rock is interesting in that you still have to do a pretty good chunk of it, but you can skip the laser bridge.
This is true there. You only need the 4 keys to get through the dungeon, and the big key, of course, and that's about it. Alright, it looks like Moosh is going into Tower of Hera, and picking up that green pendant. Devio has picked up his boss key there, and has 1 key, so he'll be able to enter the second area of, or the second major block of Turtle Rock.
I'm just glad that Mouse finally figured out that he needed to check Tower Hera and complete it.
Well, he is, but we don't know if his reasoning is correct there. He might be thinking that it's behind pedestal and he needs the pendant from here, whereas we know that it's from Sasha. So does he check the pedestal or Sasha first? We're praying that he's going to be checking Sasha before he goes towards Eastern Palace.
Yeah, that would be pretty unfortunate if he did not.
Alright, so we've got Moosh versus the Troll King himself there.
He has earned his title this seed.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, using the cape to trivialize the fight.
Now, thankfully, we're saving Eastern Palace for your last pendant dungeon there. You can turn in that pendant on his way over to Sasha's place. I found it sort of just like a small disappointment there that if you get hit by Bunny Beam while being Bunny Link there, this sprite there just turns into a different colored bunny instead of turning him back into Link.
I know, right? Like, I don't know why they didn't do that. Like, sometimes the randomizer devs miss the obvious.
We'll see. I don't know. Meanwhile, Devio's making quick work through Turtle Rock.
Due to the fact that he only has to check what's basically in his way.
As long as he can get enough keys, yeah, he's golden.
It looks like he may have... No. Actually, you shouldn't have to check out the laser bridge at all. I think he has sufficient keys.
He's got 1 left over. As soon as he gets in there, he can go there. And Moosh is inside of Eastern Palace. He hasn't checked Sasha yet.
No! Turn around, my friend. Turn around.
He's gonna be kicking himself so hard after this. I can just feel it.
I know I would be. Many, many times.
I'd be Kled raging all over the place.
But yeah, that's just the nature of randomizer. It's just sometimes you're just hinging on finding that one item, and it's not cooperating.
Murphy's Seed. The thing you need is in the last place you look, always there. But meanwhile, Devio is ticking on Trinex right now, with the redhead taking down in short order there, with the butter sword making things trivial. We are into phase 3 already. And with only, I believe, a couple slashes will be needed for the main body, and then we will be all done.
I believe with all 7 crystals about to be collected, I believe we're coming up on a little game we like to play in these tournaments.
That is correct there. We have the Ganon's Tower guessing game there. There are... Is it 21 or 22? There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower there. One of them has the big key. It could be anywhere except for the big chest in Ganon's Tower there. Start your guessing now.
Personally, I'm going to guess 1.
I'm a fond of 14 myself there, just because I like multiples of 7 there. I believe if they take the 2 chests on the right side into left side route, that ends up being Bob's chest. Or Bob's chest. And Moosh finds the flute on Sasha, and gives him a few sword slashes. What for? Oh, thank you for finding my pendant, young Sonny there. Let me give you this little musical doohickey that I found. Been in our family for generations. Don't know what it does, but it sounds nice.
Well, technically, it doesn't do anything until you visit a specific location, so... Oh,
Got
Devio
this
was
carving
doing...
of a duck on it. Never liked ducks myself. Always tried to bite my toes.
Well, now we get the swag duck theme.
Indeed. Alright, Devio is continuing through Ganon's tower there. I've got lost in my duck reverie, so I forgot where we are in the chest count.
Hopefully someone was paying attention for us.
Looks like he's cleared all full of right side except for tile room there.
Yeah, skipping tile room is a very, very common play because it takes a million years.
Pretty much. Literally, a million years there. You get just locked into it there. Can't leave there. Mr. Bones' wild tile room. And there Devio finds the big key.
Do we know what number that was?
I honestly lost count. I know I did all of right side except for tile room there, and then went up all the way to the Stallfers room, and it was the last chest in there.
Well, apparently it was 11. And no one guessed it correctly. But Sackett 82 was close.
Alright, so we have Devio getting up into the gauntlet momentarily there. Dodges the spikes nicely there. Going to be going up through there. Meanwhile, Moosh is going to be starting his clear of Misery Mire, hoping to find that big key as soon as he can, because with that fire rod, he is in go mode as well, but he's quite a ways behind Devio at this moment, unfortunately. Alright. Musha is a little bit low on life right now at the moment, but with the powder can make use of these anti-fairs if he so desires.
Yes.
Not sure if y'all like to do that, given that he's still got a bottled fairy as well, but even so. With Red Mail, he shouldn't be taking that much damage from the enemies in here.
Yes, at this point, he's basically indestructible.
More or less there. Devio making quick work of the Land Molai, going out, continuing on through the gauntlet. 3 arrows, 3 kills.
It's amazing how, like, in Ganon's Tower, they added ice floors to the Armless Knights, and Trolldorm's room his platform's a lot smaller, but for the Lemals, it's like, oh, just put a fireball thing in the corner. That makes it harder.
Well, what else could we do to the landmolls fight? Just put some random spikes around it, in it?
That's what all the ROM hacks do.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Moshe's checking out the cutscene chest there, but we know it is not there. It is inside that chest next to the blue raised tiles on the right side. But he's got pretty much everything that he needs there. All he needs to do is beat Aghanim, beat Ganon, and then he is done. He's got 15 minutes to do so and should be able to do so with ease. But we will see how things go. But, I mean, barring some kind of catastrophic disaster multiple times in a row, he's pretty much got this in the bag. But we'll see if he can get that 2-hour mark. He should be able to do that easily, but we'll see exactly what the time is.
Either way, it should be a pretty solid time, I would imagine.
I would think so, yes. Alright, and he's in the final hallway before Aghanim 2. In we go there. We'll see how the patterns play out there. On the first, we got the first pitch coming out there. We have a swing and a single.
Single's better than nothing.
This is true. We've got a double on the second half. We're halfway done. Oh, takes a big whiff on the third pitch.
Strike one.
I can't tell if that was a single or a double there. There.
It can be hard to tell sometimes.
But it was enough as Aghanim goes down there, and we have Devio heading onto the Big Pig himself. Alright, calling in the Negaduck. And
Somehow.
down we go into the power. Oh, it's the Negaduck. It's the Swagduck's evil twin. You just have to play the song back.
Then why is the duck helping us?
He wants you to get beaten by Ganon. Like, here, go to Ganon, then he can just stomp you faster. But we've got the first phase there with the Butter Sword, with the Silver's Arrow. This should be a piece of cake there. Already in phase 2. Alright, 8 slashes will end phase 2 there. After these fire bats, you should go straight into the stomps. 1 slash per stomp to make the sides fall down, and then we'll be into the final phase of phase 4.
Ganon's fight is quite long in this game, surprisingly.
Relatively so there. He's equipped to the 9s, so he's not going to be taking practically any damage here at all.
I mean, if he somehow managed to lose all his hearts, he has a fairy reserve.
And we need 4 arrows to take him down there. Doesn't get the torch clutch, but I doubt that's going to be much of a problem as well. Almost falls off the ledge there, but clings onto it with his tippy toes. Oh, almost gets the double there, but gets the third shot, and this should be the last arrow straight to the noggin. And down Ganon goes there. Devio is our winner today.
Yes.
As soon as he walks through that door.
Showing. Just don't fall off while trying to go in the door. We've seen that happen.
Does Ganon undie and you have to fight him again?
Yep, you have to fight Ganon again if you fall down at this point.
And Devio finishes with an official time of 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 57 seconds. A good time if I do say so myself.
Yes, solid sub 2.
A good seed, a fast seed, and an entertaining race nonetheless. With some interesting placements there. We've got Sasha holding out on us again.
Yes, that does not happen particularly often.
It happens frequently enough there that I never forget about him ever again.
I'm hoping we can get Devio in here for an interview now that he has one.
And I believe I see him here, so let me go get him, and I'll be right there.
The game music is awesome, Devio, but I think we can all hear it.
Congratulations, Devio, on your first place finish in this seed there. How would you enjoy this race?
I think he's having a few audio issues.
Well, we'll get that sorted out there, and then
Yes,
we should be...
we'll figure that out in a second. May just really wants us to know that he won by us playing the ending music for us.
Well, in the meantime there, Moosh is heading over to Turtle Rock now.
Yes.
He may just be pulling the pet just out of curiosity to see what it is. He already knows he did not finish there. So he's going to find out that behind the pedestal is a whopping blue rupee.
The legendary blue rupee. Oh, he's putting the Master Sword back in. He's done.
Nice, I like it. Alright, meanwhile, Moosh is still heading up the Death Mountain to Turtle Rock to finish his last dungeon and then finish this seed.
Yes. It is a bit unfortunate that he fell behind, but he's still making a solid effort.
It's just sometimes these gambles just don't pay out. The times that they do win, you just are so happy because of it.
Hello, I think maybe my mic issues got sorted.
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear
sir,
you.
we can hear you now. Congratulations on your first place finish this seed.
Oh, well, thank you very much. This was kind of an interesting one.
It was.
What were your thoughts on the seed?
Well, you know, it was really fun opening the map up in the light world and seeing all pendants. That maybe have seen that once before.
Someone had calculated that it's roughly about a 1 in 200 chance, more or less. 210, I think? I'm not positive.
120.
Ah, okay. I got it backwards.
And then how many of those can you finish without ever going into Eastern is another question.
This is true there. So when you saw those three pendants there, how did that, what were you thinking about how your routing would go?
I was thinking, okay, it's probably a pretty decent chance that this is going to be a pedestal seed. That's why, well, when I didn't have the flute for a long time, and that was given by Sahasrala, which I got kind of late, and I was a little concerned about that. But mostly, I was just trying to route as efficiently as possible, and I think I did pretty okay coming up with things on the fly without having you know, the flute to help me out.
Pretty much there. I have to. I don't know if you've seen what or been hearing about what's been going on in this race so far, but what your opponent did there is that he went into Hera there, saw that the big master key was in the tie room, said nope and left.
Oh,
Then came back,
okay.
got the flippers, decided, and then I was like, yes, I've got the flippers, and then left.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those are understandable because it's, it's not. The chance of that being something is still relatively low, and I had like a bunch of stuff that I could have continued to clear on Death Mountain, so I wasn't super incentivized to do so. But knowing that all 3 pendants were in the light world, I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go for this one. The mirror was a big tell, I think, for me.
Yes, the mirror was in. Where was it? It was inside of one of the Death Mountain caves. It was in. That's right. It was in Super Bunny Cave. There we go.
Wait, no, it was Sahasrah's hut, if I remember correctly.
Oh no, you're right. It wasn't Sasha's hut. That's right.
And that's what made me just nope on out and not even go into Eastern the first time. And then the second time, Sahasrah had the flute, and I was like, well, I don't need to go there yet, so let's. Take care of something that I can, I can fully clear Meyer at that point, so.
Yeah, pretty much so. You had a much better chance. I mean, and it's once, no one ever checked the witch. We just still don't know what was in there. We got the mushroom early on, and we don't know what was in there, but it was just a random one-off check that we're hoping to find once we got the flute, I'm assuming.
And we weren't paying attention to your credit sequence, so we missed what it said for the witch's text.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, I wasn't paying attention either. I had to stop at the little boy's room real quickly. I have a bad habit of drinking caffeine while I do these races.
Yeah, get hype, yeah.
Gotta keep your energy up somehow. Some of these races can go on a while.
It's true. So... so what were your other thoughts on this seed there? Having a flute be one of your Gomite items, but the fire rod locking so much away for such a long time. What were your thoughts about that?
Well, if you're gonna have an item be go mode, it might as well be something like that effectively blocks you off. Like it prevented me from going into Turtle Rock. I checked the first chest. And that's all I could do. So I was like, well, I can't go back until I get that fire rod. So there's that out of the way. I couldn't finish up Skullwoods. But I think of all the items to have as a go mode item, the flippers are pretty good because they let you do 2 dungeons very quickly if you can just zoom right through.
Pretty much. I mean, you got to go mode. What was left of Skullwoods and what was left of Turtle Rock there, and all of Misery Mire, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was banking on there are a fair number of items in the Misery Mire area, so I was banking on that to have the fire rod. And once I had that, it was just finish as fast as I can at that point.
Pretty much there, yes.
So, question. I see that my opponent got red mail. Where was that?
That's a good question.
I remember, but I don't remember exactly where.
Oh no.
Was it in Eastern Palace, I think? Because I remember that you both got blue mail at roughly about the same time.
I think that's
in different
right.
Different places in it.
Yeah,
I believe it was inside the big chest inside of Eastern Palace, if I remember correctly.
Okay, that would do it. I think the other mail was in the Paradox Cave, right next to the powder. So it was like 2 safety items right next to each other, if I remember
That's
correctly.
right. That was correct. Yes.
So yeah, this was kind of weird one. I didn't even bother opening up the map in the Dark World because at that point it was like I'm just gonna have to clear everything anyway. I'll just be mindful of the red or the 5/6 crystals in my map in the inventory rather.
Pretty much there, yeah. Unfortunately, nothing interesting ended up being at the Pyramid Ferry anyway, but it's a good thing to keep in mind regardless.
Right.
Now, it turns out, what did you think about when you got Dark World access so early? I mean, once you finished Kakariko, though, you had, everything you could possibly want.
Yeah, and I also had, I think, 3 hearts or 4 hearts at the time, and I'm like, it might have been 5, actually. And, I know fortune favors the bold, but just the other day I like died to blind twice, so I was a little gun shy on that one.
Pretty
And
much there.
And
Yeah.
plus, there's a possibility that, there's a lot of good stuff in South Shore usually, or, one of those places. So I was like, I'll just get a feel for more, just Dark World access is not a really big hint. If something else popped up, it might direct me a little bit better around. But I forget what all showed up in South Shore.
Nothing of consequence, I don't believe there. The major things were in Thieves' Town in the first two chests. I think we got the lamp and the
Bow.
Bow, and yes.
Yeah, that was a sign that I really wanted to go to pod at that point because those two items were basically all the logic needed for pod. So I figured that would be a decent enough play.
Yeah, I mean, that's you were pretty good in terms of execution along the whole thing there. It's mainly just the efficiency of the routing of Death Mountain in Hera once instead of 3 times.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I try to, I don't know what it was. I was just having moments where I'm like, okay, wait, I can actually like go in the desert at the very end of the Smith's quest line type thing, and so I figure, okay, because I basically wanted to go into desert since the beginning of the game almost.
You did find Book inside of the dam, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, and usually, but not always, that means that it's gonna want to force you into desert. But I didn't have a fire source at the time, so I'm like, that's just a non-starter. And without the
no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. And without the boots, it's also kind of a maybe not the best
at best.
Yeah.
And
Right.
It was boots locked after as well. Yes.
Right, and so once when I finally realized that I had the mirror and the flippers, I went to Swamp after doing like a little a side stuff because it wasn't at the front of my mind. I'm like, wait a second, I can actually finish a dungeon. I should go do that. I felt pretty good once I got the boots there, although they did not unlock anything.
Did make things faster, but no, they did not unlock anything particularly interesting.
Yeah, and the fact that the flute did, and that was kind of the thing that I was looking for so long. I was a little worried that I might have gotten behind at some point, but
yeah, I mean, with the flute essentially behind a early-ish dungeon clear. Once you got the mirror, then you could go straight there. So, but both of you all made the same routing choices essentially. So,
yeah, I feel the seed kind of. I'm not sure if it was like super linear, but it did seem like that to me. I was just kind of going where the items were kind of taking me, and then just picking everything up along the way because I was still looking for these couple items.
pretty much. I mean, like once you outside of getting into Thieves' Town, there everything was very much open.
Yeah. The bow in Thieves was really great to see because that's that can always be a pain. Getting the ice rod early was also nice. I forget where that was.
The ice rod was in an early dungeon, I believe. I don't remember which one, because I remember we had found it and it was nice to have, but we couldn't do anything with it at the time.
Right.
I think it was in Palace of Darkness.
That's right. I think you're right there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, outside of the ledge chest, I believe.
Yeah, getting that out of the way when I knew that Turtle Rock had to be a crystal was, that and the bow, getting those, because they lock so few items that they're just a pain.
They lock a few items there, but they lock
but you need
bosses
to,
themselves.
yeah, you need them to finish the game. Exactly.
Pretty much, yeah. So, any other final thoughts on this seed?
It was a pretty fun one. I was a little concerned going in, seeing the nonsense on the overworld with the pendants, but it turned out to, it didn't like force double dips from what I could tell and things like that. So that's nice.
This is true there. And with this, you'll be moving on in the Swiss format. They're going to be moving up to 2 and 1 there. How do you feel about your chances going forward?
I mean, good or bad, really. I mean, I'm thinking of like who is in the 2-1 bracket. Probably some very good runners, if I'd have to guess. And so, I'd like to think that I have an okay chance of, getting another win. But hey, we'll just have to see, I suppose.
Yeah, I believe all that requires is like 5 wins to be able to move on into the next segment.
Yeah.
But we will wish you luck in your further endeavors.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and GT to my opponent, and hope he does well in the future too.
Yep, he is continuing up the gauntlet right now. There, he is at Land Molus 2, and we will continue on with his run. So with that there, Moosh does take out Land Molus 2. I'm never quite sure if Land Molus is a single worm or that's just them as a group.
Well, it does end in an S, so I guess it can be used for singular and plural purposes.
It is totally weird like that, yes. But he should be done relatively soon there. It's just got a few more rooms to go. Aghanim 2, and then the big pig himself.
I do not believe there's too much left in this run for him.
This fire room always bothered me as a kid there. I could never do it fast enough. But it's pretty well planned out now.
Yeah, I remember it giving me trouble as a kid too.
Pretty much there. But we are almost at the top of the tower now. Just a few more rooms to go, and then we'll be more or less done. Now, just a little bit of fridge logic here. Is there, with all these bombable walls needed to be opened there, how do your normal minions get through here?
Maybe they don't ever leave.
Pretty much there. Up. Ooh, Moosh avoids a bump right there and smacks Trolldorm for 1 there. And we'll see where that goes from here. There he goes. Caught back up. And with that, he's bombing the chest. I think he's done with this scene.
Don't punish the chest. It didn't do anything wrong.
But with that, he has made it to the top of the tower. We are fighting Aghanim 2 right now. We are in the end game of endgames. One hit on phase 1 there. It's hard setup to get 2 or more on there. Got another hit there. You can get a double here if you do it right there, but he gets the blue balls instead. Oh, and gets a triple on that one. Very nice indeed. Yes, poke him in the butt with your extendo pointy thing.
Known in some circles as a hook shot.
No, I think the official name is extendo pointy thing, don't you think?
What do you call the claw shot in Twilight Princess then?
Even more double pointy things! I have no idea where I'm going with this. But we are at Ganon there. We'll get now. Moosh will get to take his frustrations out on Ganon there and smack him around with the butter sword there. Death by cholesterol.
Yes. Ganon is allergic to butter, and that's why it does so much damage.
Pretty much there. Moosh, quit mooning him. He doesn't want to see that. He may be an evil pig, but even he has standards. On the other hand, he's evil and he probably deserves it anyway.
Yeah. Like, he stole the ultimate power after murdering everyone in his path. I think.
Yeah, and he's at the phase 4 there. Only a few arrows to the face, and we'll be good.
Well, it's also been a few hours.
No, that too there. Oh, goes for the triple, does not get it, but it gets a nice double regardless. And with that there, Ganon is down. Moucheron Quipet finishes the seed. And entering the door there, he finishes with a time of, let me go check. With a time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, 56 seconds. So, GG to Moucheron Quipet.
That is a fitting ending, Tex.
Well, that just happened. While we wait to get him in here for an interview, if he so deigns to do so, we want to give a shout out to all the support crew here. A shout out to our restreamers. Shout out to all of our trackers. And of course, thank you to our runners for entertaining us in such a delightful fashion there. DevioXS and Moucheron Quipet. They check them out if you so desire. And entering the door there, he finishes with a time of, let me go check.
And
With a time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, 56 seconds. So, GG.
And hopefully
to
we can get
Moucheron
him
Quipet.
in here for an interview. That is a fitting ending, Tex.
Yep, that just happened. Who am I echoing through? While we wait to get him in here for an interview, if
I
he so deigns
don't
to do
know.
so,
It's not me.
we want to give a shout out to all the support crew here. A shout out to our restreamers. Shout out to all of our track. Okay, there we go. I think we got it taken care of there.
Hopefully. Like, that kind of threw me off for a second.
Thank you to our runners for entertaining us in such a delightful fashion there. DevioXS and Moucheron Quipet. They check them out if you so desire. Well, regardless, we'll see if Moosh wants to come in for an interview. Or if he's just essentially just done. I know that would be have to be after such a race there.
Apparently in chat he's already speaking to a few people.
Hey, there we are. GG Moosh, how are you doing after that scene?
Hey.
I was going to ask you if you were going to skip Green Pendant again, but you already answered that in chat, so I don't have to.
Played so bad.
Well, I mean, it's a reasonable gamble to make them both count, but it just blew up in your face both times, unfortunately.
Yeah, I made very strange decisions. I'm not even sure the seed was bad. The start was a bit rough because I hate going to blind without many things, but after that I just did strange things.
Well, yes, I would have. Outside of that, there, what were your thoughts on the seed there? When you what were your thoughts when you saw that all three of the Light World dungeons were pendant dungeons?
I I don't like that usually, and I knew at some point I had to go in there, and I don't like that.
Yeah, thankfully, there the game did give you Dark World access, like pretty much out of the gate. There, with everything in Kakarika and also the moon. No, that was the mirror that was on in the back of Sasha's hut. But it gave you Dark World access very quickly there. After that, there was pretty much open up there. Like, did you have any interesting decisions to make there on which dungeon to go to first?
Yeah, so I thought Diff Town was the obvious choice, but we had like 6 arts, and I'm very bad at doing blind without too many stuff, so I prefer to do other things before to get some arts, maybe another item, and I just get like 9 arts, and that was good enough.
Yeah, your blind fight was pretty good there. I think you only took like a handful of hits here and there, so good job on that. You might have been able to do it early if you so desired, but yeah, having the safeties behind you definitely gives you more confidence. True.
Yeah. After that, yeah, I think I really messed up when I didn't get the flippers, and I went for swamp, and I thought I had the flippers. I don't know why. In my head, I had them, so that's why I went for swamp, and I realized, oh shit, I don't have the flippers. So went for Ice Palace instead, because I can use fake flippers, and then oh shit, I don't have either bombos or fire rods, so I was completely lost. That's when I really started to do things really really weirdly.
I mean, yeah, I can totally understand it there. Having gone to Hera once, you don't want to have to make that big old climb again, especially if nothing ends up being there. But of Murphy's Law, of course, one place you don't want to go always has the thing you need.
Yeah. So I knew I was really far behind, so that's why I gambled on the pedestal, and I wasn't very happy to see the flute at Sasra. Not at all.
I can tell, we could tell definitely, giving that old man a bit what for. But other than that, anything else you'd like to add about the seed?
No, I think it was okay. I just I played too risky.
Well, sometimes we just have to take calculated risks in some case, but sometimes it's just point off there. But you are still in the race for the Swiss to get into the bracket stage. So we will hope to see more of you down the line, and good luck in all of your future seeds.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for commentating, and shout
Our
out
pleasure.
to the tracker on the streamer also.
Yes. So with that, I believe that does it for right now. If you give me a moment, I can see what else is going on soon.
You're ahead of me on that front. I was about to look, but you can now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still pulling up the thing, so just give me 1 sec here. Let's see, what time is it? It is now 9:30, which means that we've got Maybe or Not versus Doom Tap going on Speed Gaming 3. At 10 o'clock, we've got Ridley Dragon versus Someone 325 on Speed Gaming 2. At 11 o'clock, we've got Yoinker's Wife versus Seabass 601 on Speed Gaming 5. That one's going to be commentated by Dr. Bob, if I'm not mistaken there. So hopefully if you're interested in him, check that out. And then at 12:30 a.m. there, we've got Simbai versus Phyleon on Speed Gaming 1. Or, well, Speed Gaming Vanilla, I guess I should say. As well as Lenofis and Bright Wolves on Speed Gaming 3. And then we'll be done for the night until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So there is plenty of randomizer to go around. So stay tuned to whichever channel it tickles your fancy.
Yes. I'd like to thank both of our runners again. They did a good job. And also I'd like to thank you, Phantom Fox, for commentating with me. It was quite fun.
And thanks to you, Amatsu. So again, yeah. Shout outs to all of our support staff there. And that will do it for us tonight. Go follow the next race and we will see you next time, and have a good night.
Yes. And if you liked either runners, be sure to give them a follow. I'm sure they would appreciate it. And good night, everyone.